Hey guys, so we can start off by, this will be a demo for the Red Ants Pants poster project, but I would like you to start off by downloading the 3 files in Brightspace. They are labeled quite well, so let's just go ahead and download these. Let's go into Illustrator now. I'm in InDesign. Illustrator, and let's do New File or File New, and go to Print. We'll go to inches over here if we need to, and let's make this 10.5 by 10 inches tall. And we're going to open up this Advanced Options, and we're going to put this in CMYK color mode. Raster Effects needs to be set to high. Everything else should be okay. We don't need to bleed or anything, so go ahead and push Create. So this is what our artboard's probably going to look like. We definitely want the Properties panel open, so we need to go to Window, Workspace. Make sure you're in Essentials Classic. Okay, so we can actually go to Google now, and let's look up ant. We're going to go to Images. Make sure you're in Images. So if we go to Tools, we can go to Size, and we can go to Large. So we'll only get the large sizes of ants. And this ant, go ahead and download an image of an ant. If you can find the same one as me, that's great, but make sure you control click on that. You can see the size down here if you hover in this right hand corner once you click on it. 2000 pixels by 1200, that's a pretty nice size. So let's control click on that or right click, open image in a new tab, and then we will do a control click on it again and save image to downloads. So that's how I got that ant image. I got that from Google, which you actually will need to download as well. I did get this hay image, the hayfield image, from unsplash.com. Just clicked here and downloaded it. You don't obviously have to do that because you downloaded it already from Brightspace. I've included that with the demo files. But okay, so we're back in Illustrator now. Let's do a file place, and we'll bring in some of these images that we've downloaded. So we'll go to our downloads folder. I'm going to bring in the thumbnail. Go to place. We're going to click and hold down and let up on our cursor at the size we want that to be. Let's go ahead and crop this image in the quick actions in the properties panel, because we got a lot of extra. I have to push OK. We've got a lot of extra stuff in this image that we just don't really need. So we'll click and drag these in. It's not going to be perfect, but it's good enough. Push return. And we can just make this a little bit bigger, pushing shift on our keyboard so we don't distort it too badly. And here we go. So make sure you embed this in the quick actions. Mine says unembed, but go ahead and embed it. That means that we won't be missing this file when we go to open it again on a different computer. So we'll need to embed all of our images that we bring in. Okay, so let's go to our layers panel. Let's turn this opacity down a little bit, and then we'll lock it, and let's name this sketch. We've done this before, and let's make this one design. Double click, name those. Okay, so make sure you're in the design layer, obviously, and lock the sketch layer down too. And so let's go ahead and do a file place, and we'll bring in that actually, no, let's not do that yet. Let's do Edit Artboards. Make sure nothing's selected. Go to Edit Artboards, and we'll add another artboard here with the New Artboard button, and it'll create a new artboard. And this is a good way of finding a new workspace to work on in the same file. So if you have different elements that you're wanting to work on. So like, let's say we want to work on our ant now. So let's go to File, Place. We will find the ant that we found on Google Images, click and drag that in at the size we want, and we can actually, unlock the sketch layer. Let's put him, actually I goofed this up a little bit, Command Z, get on the black arrow tool, click on him, and move him into the sketch layer. Let's actually get back on him and turn the opacity down up here. You can also do it over here. And then lock that and get back in the design layer. So we're using him as a reference image. And we can use simple shapes to make this guy. So let's go over to the rectangle tool, go to the ellipse tool, and let's just start dragging out ellipses. Now I'm defaulting to a white fill, but we can swap the stroke and fill color over here with this little arrow. Double click on that stroke color, and I'm going to put 100% black in. You could also have done that over here and used my swatches panel, but I'm just going to do it the other way. And then let's just Command C, Command V, and start putting together this ant's body with a series of different size and shaped ellipses. We could probably do this with most of his body. He's pretty rounded. We could also use a combination of ellipses and rectangles and triangles, but let's just go ahead and do this. Like, just put together a series that roughly mimic the shape of his head and his torso here. And let's click and hold and drag over all of that, and we'll use the shape builder tool now and just click and drag a line through that. Now if you're having issues with your shape builder, just make sure that yours is matching mine here. So you may have to pause the video to get these down, but click and drag a line through that. Now we could keep going with different shapes. We could also use the blob brush tool over here to make, custom make things on this ant, and just make a combination of different things to make this work out. But for now, just for demo purposes, we're going to leave that. We're actually going to start working on the background now a little bit. So click and drag, get the rectangle tool. Let's drag out a rectangle to represent this hayfield here. Let's go to the stroke color. We'll apply none. The fill color, I'm actually going to go over here because I want a custom color, so I'll double click on that. I'm going to go kind of down in here where I can find a nice hay color. Just find something that looks like hay, kind of. And then make sure it's selected, and let's go to Draw Inside. It's down here at the bottom, and we can actually use the eraser tool, and you can tell when you're drawing inside because there is kind of a dotted line around your object that you're drawing inside. And we can actually use the eraser tool to kind of create a little bit of a gentle slope so it's not completely flat. And that's the background of our hayfield. And we would add elements on top of that, like textures, maybe use a scatter brush to add in foliage, or sagebrush. And then we could add our little ant over here, which he's underneath, so we need to do an arrange, bring to front. And so go ahead and move that over here. You can leave the second artboard, that's totally fine. And then, at some point we probably would delete our second artboard and just save our file. But we also want to do a file place and bring in our header image, which is a screenshot. It's not very well labeled, I apologize for that, but click and hold and drag that down into the size you need it to be. Maybe just put it up here, because honestly this is going to be something that you need to check your color scheme against. And let's go ahead and embed that. So just make sure you've embedded all of your images. I'm going to unlock this and just double check to make sure I've embedded this. I did not, so let's embed that, and we can also lock that back down. And this might just live out here in the gray area, and that's totally fine. So that's about where we need to be. I do want to show you quickly, with that hayfield image that we downloaded, we can get a color scheme out of this pretty easily. It would require that you have InDesign. If you are an online student and you don't have InDesign, you don't have to do this part of the exercise. You could be done here. It's totally fine. But if you have InDesign, go ahead and try this out because it's pretty cool. So go to InDesign. I've already kind of started a file here, but if we do File, New, Document, you can just go ahead and make a new one. Go to Print, go to Letter, just leave it as is, push Create. And then let's do a file place to bring in our image. Here it is. It's not named very well. Leon McGregor, Unsplash.com. Click and hold, drag that in at the size you want it to be. And let's go to, just make sure you're in Window Workspace Essentials Classic. And let's go to Help, and let's go to Color Theme. If we know the name of what we're looking for, that helps a lot because we can always use the Help menu. So it's under Object, Extract from Image, Color Themes. And it takes a little bit for it to start working. Your library panel will pop up, typically, and it will extract colors from your image and create a nice color scheme for you. You can change these to be different if you want to, or you can custom move these things around. Let's say I want another blue color, but lighter. So I can get that by moving these little bubbles around to get exactly what I'm looking for. And then you can save that to your libraries panel. And if you don't have any libraries set up, I think it should work still for you. It should be just fine. So you can see my color scheme here in InDesign, but if I hop over to Illustrator, you can still use the libraries panel. And here is our new color scheme or theme, and we can control click on that and add theme to swatches. And that should go into our swatches panel over here. And it created a group of colors. And so pretty cool, pretty neat. And then you can use that to create a color theme for yourself if that works for you. I kind of like that method because you're probably going to maybe want to come up with a color scheme that works off of a landscape, because that would make sense for this particular project. But anyway, I think that's about all I wanted to go over. If you just want to go ahead and file save this file, it probably will be named Red Ants Pants Demo file. And then you can, let's just do a file save as. I'll show you how I want you to name this. File save as. We'll go in our documents, our illustration 2, if I can find it, illustration 2 folder, Red Ants Pants Demo. Right here, we want to make a new folder maybe, but I already have one. And then Red Ants Pants Demo. Actually, let's name it with our first name and then save it as an AI file. Go ahead and save that. Push OK. And that is what I want for a grade in Brightspace by Tuesday, I believe. But check the date in Brightspace to make sure that that's the day I want that. Anyway, we'll talk to you later.